screen up. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a tremendous morning so far. My morning is... Wow, this microphone is loud in my ears. I'm full of beans again this morning, so I just wanted to stream early. I'm going to the cinema later, see Project Hail Mary, which I absolutely hated the book, but the film looks great, and I like Ryan Gosling, so I think it'll be a good time. Yeah, I really didn't enjoy the book. I found it very, how can I describe it? I think that it was the humour. It was just really grating. But the film does look good. So, and I'm interested to see how they adapt it. I always like seeing films of books that I've read. Although always after I've read the book. I never like really reading a book after I've watched a film. Because I think when you read, you get like a vision in your head, don't you, of what you think the characters are. And I don't want that spoiled by the film. So anyway, this is a 3D modelling stream, not a book stream. Hello, Kavera. Good morning. I hope you're well this morning. I'm thinking today, actually you can just see in the background here, I've just, let me just get my screen set up properly. I really came in hot this morning. I just decided I was going to do it, and then I was in the middle of doing some motion design in Apple Motion, and I did that thing where I just completely lose track of time, and I looked and I was like, oh yeah, I said I was going to stream now, I better stop doing this. I'm just getting a hole sometimes when I'm designing stuff. But yeah, I was actually just messing around before as well this morning with, we obviously made these vases, the other stream. I was just messing around a bit more with this shape, and I think I'm going to turn, I've adapted this into this shape using some curves and some extrusions, and taken the base shape of, actually I've deleted the standard vase on this because it's a different file, but taking the base shape that we designed for the vase, which would be this, and then doing some sweeping. And it's, I think it could be a really cool, like modern light with the cob LED rope coming down through the middle, and you could potentially then socket in a diffuser in these like ribs that we've got. Or I think it could actually be really cool if it was just the filament light, like the rope light, just vertical. Which I don't know. I think I'll try. I haven't finished that other filament light that we were working on stream on, was it Monday? I can't remember now. It didn't fit in the way I wanted to, so I've done some adaptations, but I need to reprint that. I've got all these clocks I've been designing on the printer, so I'm getting a little bit of a backlog on the printer. I could probably do with getting an extra printer, but free. You have to think of the energy as well, because 3 heat beds going full welly, it does add up. But I think what I fancy today is, I haven't done any planters for ages, and I thought, oh, I'll do some planters, but then the idea didn't really excite me very much. So I was having a little bit of a look around. Let me get Chrome up. I was having a little look around. I had in my head this concept of the Santorini planter. Now, I don't know why I thought they were called Santorini planters, because I searched Santorini planters, and I suppose kind of this sort of thing here. So actually, I suppose it was just called a Santorini planter. Yeah, but like Santorini buildings. Thinking like some sort of little like cute planter. I know people do this quite often, but I've never done one. And I just feel like having a go at my own version. That is like a little succulent style planter that uses like it looks like a little building from Santorini. With these blue domes, which are obviously really iconic. Then the arch windows. I'm just looking here to see like what actually. The cat, got to click. Then the cat. I love cats. What defines a Santorini building? Because I quite often find that in my head I'm like, oh yeah, that I have an idea of what a style is. I design it, and then when I actually afterwards reference the style, I'm like, wow, I have completely the wrong idea about what what that style was. I designed a light about a month and a half ago, and I was completely in my head. I was inspired by, it was a Johnny Ive designed, I think it was Harman Kardon speaker. And I just had in my head that I knew what it was looked like, and that was what was inspiring the lamp. And then when we were going through some design books, that speaker happened to be in it, and when I saw it, I was like, that looks nothing like in my head I thought it did, even though that is now I see it, that was the light I was thinking of, the speaker I was thinking of, sorry. So I'm just like getting a little bit of like confirmation that Santorini style buildings look like I think they look like, and they do. It's all these half arc roofs, blue domes seem to be the business, and arced windows. Oh, look at this. This is cool. Oh, we'll have to do something like that. Yeah, we'll have to do something like that. Right. I'm going to save this image. Actually, I'm just going to screenshot it because they're never in the right format. And what I'll do, I'll just have some on my second monitor. So if you keep seeing me looking across like this, it's one, I'm talking to you in chat because that's where my chat is. And two, I've just put some images on my second monitor for me to reference because it's just easier not having, although I might actually put some of them in the Plasticity window just for... I don't really think of this as Santorini. I know they're white, but very modern, that, isn't it? Never actually been to Santorini. We were thinking about going not last year, the year before. It was too expensive. We just did what we normally do, went to Spain instead. Which I love Spain, so I don't mean that in like a dismissive manner. I absolutely love Spain. Oh wow, look, a little windmill as well. That might be a bit awkward though with the fins. The Greek islands are beautiful. We went to, was it Corfu? I think actually no, sorry, I tell a lie, we went to Corfu rather than Santorini. That was the swap, and it was brilliant. Was it Corfu? God, Corfu Airport. It's like in a lagoon, isn't it? Is this where... I'll know when I say them. Yeah, it was Corfu. We were actually right next to the airport, which sounds dreadful, but it was absolutely amazing. In fact, this was our hotel just here. We had like a pool on the back that was like shared between 5 little bungalows, and it was amazing just watching all the planes coming in. Anyway, 3D printing stream, 3D design stream, not my holiday stream. Well, it was a good holiday. Yeah, and I have to agree with you, the Greek islands are absolutely beautiful. So, do you know what? I think I might just go for this. I can overthink. Do you know what I'm also getting here? I'm also getting a real oh, you're gonna make me... I'm not signing. I'm also getting a real Book Nook vibe. This building in particular. That'll make a really cool little Book Nook with a light inside with all these little bits glowing. I'm going to take a screenshot of this as well. Right, I'm going to do one more page of scrolling. It's not quite like the main page of Google, is it? When you do the image search, you don't get to like page 3 of the image search and you're on the dark web like when you do Google. If you're on page 3 of the Google's, oh, how cute is that? I was going to say that might be AI, but it does actually say it's, well, saying it's an investment cave doesn't really... Hang on a minute. So I think my initial impressions were correct. That is AI. So this is what it could be. Oh, this is what it is. It's actually... This is why I love 3D modeling. Honestly, I should do more of this when I tend to be, when I'm on stream, I just think, all right, let's get modeling. But I spend a massive amount of my time doing this, just browsing the back end of the websites and stuff, just to be like, seeing where things take me. Well, that is that image not even... Honestly, every stream, every single day, every week, you find a new way that AI image generation is getting used. And I am not somebody who's universally against AI image generation. I will openly admit that. However, in its place and in very specific uses. But man alive, that is so dodgy. Like, so they've obviously generated this image to give you an idea of what it could look like. But that is the indexed image. Yeah, in that. So they fed that to the crawler. Here we go, just like below, yeah. Oh, God. Wow. That is... Do you know what? It'll be effective, though. It'll be effective because people will see this and they don't see the vision. They'll see that and they'll go, oh, wow, yeah, I want to do that. And that makes people get invested. Crazy. Anyway. But it is cute, actually. Did I take a picture of that? Just the shapes on it are good for some ideas. Don't know what you're doing with this swimming pool here, mind. You got to have a swim in. Right. Should we actually design something? So let's get a new thing going. I'll actually get Plasticity up on the screen. Let's get a new file. I do want to clear this thing. Right, do I want to bring some of these images in? Do I want to bring them in or do I just want them on the side? Let's bring them in, and then if people join the stream and they wonder what the hell's going on, it's a little more obvious. Oh, God, that cracks me up, that AI image, Jesus. Right, so let's first of all get a bed dimension just so I don't go crazy and go so far off it that I need to effectively start again. So let's just go 240, 240. Where is... I've not got tape measure. I'm terrible at, like, in my head visualizing dimensions. So, no, I might actually do 180, 180, and then it can go on the A1 Mini. So, I think... First of all, I think we want succulents, don't we? So we want 3, I'm going to say, do we want 3 succulents? Like, I think it's going to have to be a succulent plant because it's got to be little. So if we were to say, let me get my caliper say and just double check what 75mm actually is. Oh, 75 is quite... let's do 70. So all I'm thinking of here is where to space out the areas that'll become where I put the plants, where the little succulent sections will be, and how they are going to fit in to the wider aesthetic. Normally I have sketches, normally I think about things before I come on stream, but I just felt like doing it today. So I think it could be quite good if we have a straight on. I don't know if I'd want to do a singular building. That doesn't feel like what I'm thinking of. It's more like garden-like, isn't it? So I think maybe... Right, well, what we need is a central Santorini aspect. So that's going to have to be like one of those domes. So if we were to make... I don't want it in the centre because that's a bit weird. It's just purely perfectly in the centre. So if we were just... You know what? They're not circular, are they? So how many sides is that? Is that 1, 2, 3? 8, isn't it? So it's an octagon, right? Let's do an 8-sider. It's 6. I'm gonna say 8. I like 6 better, so I'm doing 6. No, I'm doing it. Not 68. That would be. So. Should just do like this for first, and then I'll rotate it around. I'm just gonna calculate it. So 360 divided by 8 is 45. But I don't think it's 45. I think it's half of 45. I'd need to rotate it to get it planar with the front. Rotate Z. 45 divided by 2. Yeah, there we go. I just wanted the straight face at the front, not the angle. So if we bring that down a little bit, and I'm just going to add in a sphere here just to give me some visualization of the dome. All really rough, just blocking out at the moment. Only got a little snippet there because it was overlapping in the circle. But with Plasticity, you just pull it out. It's great. It's a wonderful program. Not sponsored. Wish I was. I will be one day. Well, I think sponsorship with Plasticity just means a referral code, but that's fine. So now I think it would be quite good. We want some sort of level to it. So we don't want it just to be flat. So let's bring this up and let's go for a tiered approach. So if we were to say that the back here I mean, as I say, I'm just really blocking out for ideas here. So if we want the back to be higher, I think we probably want 3 levels, don't we? Actually, I think it would be good if this was kind of on the 2nd level. So if we were to do this to bring that out, and then I'm going to get rid of these curves because I don't really need them anymore. And they're just causing issues. Said that now I need that curve that defines to 180, so I know that I'm not going over it. Should actually give myself a little bit more wiggle room than this. I'm right up to the edge of it. So actually, I'm just going to shrink all these down very, very slightly. Now, obviously, steps like that are a bit nah. But let's add in like a building front to this. Yet to figure out where I'm actually putting the plants yet. I can see this turn into a bookmark. It's a great thing about designing things when you're not on a live stream is you can just push things up and nobody knows that that wasn't where you started at. Just put my coffee far away when I'm on a live stream because I do not want to be dropping that. So, if we think I might put this a little bit over this way. I think it'd be quite cool if we had... You look at some of these images, see if anything strikes me for inspiration. So yeah, I was thinking like stairs, and then something like this as well. Although I did like that, didn't I? Maybe you could just design that at the back. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to design this and then go, need to fit some plants in here. Might use this as inspiration for the front here. Yeah, let's do that. So, basically we just need to add a circle in, don't we? But it's not actually perfectly on the circle. It's down slightly. More like that. Oh, I haven't got my keys on again, have I? Worked first time. I love it when sometimes OBS just forgets my settings, so it's great when you when it just works first time. So, starting to block this out. Like these little insets that they have. So let's just boolean them together. So if we put in some edges here, and then we can just offset this a bit. Pull it in. Pull this down. So we get a nice archway. I'm going to actually fillet those edges. But I do kind of, I'm mixing things here because I do kind of like this window as well. But oh, that, to be fair, this has got a window there. So let's do that then. Do I just want to? No, I don't want that. I'm going to just do a proper circle. It won't be offset of that because that is not a full circle. Get center circle, put it there. We get our little mark that we can use for the window. Inset that. Let's offset this, and then we can get a little frame. So we also add in an ISO param here, so we can pull this out a little bit to give us a lip, and then just put in a bit of a chamfer there, because it'll be an overhang, so it just helps it out a bit. About there, bring that in slightly. Definitely not nice with that chamfer, but it's just, you really just want to avoid having to have overhangs everywhere. So, I don't want to focus on doing all the detail at once. I want to get everything blocked out. So let's actually put a door in the middle here. What's that door like? Well, let's look at these doors. I think Santorini would be one of those places where every door's different. It's like when I was in Croatia years ago. I think I've got like a whole photo album of doors. print this. And I'll just bring it in just to give it a vibe of a door. And then, actually, I'm going to use isoparam here to make these edges. And then I can offset these to give us some little panels. And then offset these ones, but not as much, because I always think the bottom panels are often bigger. Just gives a bit of an effect. And then get rid of this base because it's getting in the way, and this curve because I don't need it now. So is that's sticking through? It is. Grab this, and let's just bring it. Actually, we don't need this sticking out as much, do we? Sticking in as much. That's really thick, actually, now you look at it from here. So then we can bring these back out as well. Actually, maybe all of them sticking out, but what does it look like if I... Yeah, that's better. Do the same there. No, it was best to mirror this. Probably just cut it out and then stick it back together, so I don't have to do that again. Yeah. So just booleaning those away and then put them back together. Meant I could use the mirror command. So might just put some isoprams in with a pipe just to give us some like panel detail, because obviously it's like now gone effectively in the middle here. So if we do a pipe, then a pipe, and do 4 vertexes, 1.2. It just gives a little bit of pattern on the door. So now the windows. I can't believe I'm looking at this bloody image as my inspiration. Quite like these. These look a little bit more weird and authentic, don't they? With just like the circles in. Yeah, let's do that. So a couple of like arced windows. So if we just put one there, then I don't think I really want as big of a drop on these. Not as big as the window above. Join them now. Look at that image again. I think they didn't even have like frames around them. Oh, they do. They do have a frame around them. Look at that for a hot tub. It's on somebody's bed. God, that would be a pleasant sleep, wouldn't it? I'm going to mirror these, so I don't want to actually imprint that. I'll actually build it as a... sharp edges. I don't like, it's one of the things, I feel like there used to be a thing, probably still is, where when you were offsetting, you could make it not take a curve. So what was that weird little pattern that it had? It's like, so it's just 3. Interesting. I don't like it. I think I've thought that having that central to this circle would make it look better, but I think it's actually better when it's actually centrally. They're all centrally placed. Cool. Let's get rid of these curves. So, I feel like I need something here, but I really have already started doing what I am absolutely terribly guilty of, which is start doing details when really what I need to be doing is blocking everything out and figuring out where the plants are going to sit in this. And so I'm actually going to behave myself and I'm going to just block out a little bit more rather than focusing on this building. So I think a staircase coming up here, and then we'll have some plants at the top and maybe a plant here. We're going to have some like balcony style railing things on the front. Maybe a plant down here. So like plant, plant, plant. Let's actually just draw some circles to make me think that I know and I've made a decision. Let's just do 60. I might get a scale this bigger than 180, I don't know. But actually just make, rather than having circles here, it could be a trough style area. Just looking at some of these references I've got on my other monitor. Yeah. So what if... I'm trying to think what the best way to do these stairs would be. So I'm thinking... stairs come round like that, obviously, but go up. Maybe the best way to do it is just draw them and then from this angle and then cut them out that way. I think that probably is the best way. So if we... This is what I love about 3D modeling. Like this, so it's just constant, like, it's a bit like a puzzle game. It's like just constantly just like, right, so how would I do this? How am I going to get this? Like, and there's a million ways to do everything, and that's what makes it so great. So, and I said this might be completely bonkers and the wrong way to do this, but I'm going to give this a go. So effectively, all I'm doing here is I'm making the vertical... This might not work now I think about it, because stairs curve, don't they? So what I was thinking is that I would just make a load of straight stairs, really wide, come down from the top and cut the curve out, but then all of the stairs would be, so say when it was curving, they would still be this direction. So I think ultimately what I want to do is actually draw the curve of the stairs and then just curve array the stairs. So if we think that's all right for the vertical, so how it's gonna, so if we subdivide this and let's subdivide it again, and then we can bring this curve around, bring this point, bring this point. Oh. This is not the final step. I'm just seeing how it reacts to this curve array. Yeah, I thought that might happen. And then parallel just does the same anyway. Yeah, that looks like a good staircase to me. Actually, I wonder if... right, that's a better way of doing it. Not do the elevation. I know I'm just talking myself here, but because it's the elevation and the turning which adds the twist that we're seeing there. So if I just do it on a flat plane, so if we now do a curve array with this, because I think it should be tangent to that line. Yeah. And then let's just add loads more in. It'd be better actually if it was thicker in this direction. We don't need to add as many. And then, can we just do this? Is this completely bonkers? I mean, obviously I would normally, yeah, so this is gonna, I think I don't actually want them to be perfectly accurate, the steps. I was gonna say normally you would like set a specific amount that you had each step coming down, so they're all equal. I don't feel like Santorini steps are famous for their they're being perfectly health and safety. Now this is obviously far too big, but I'll cut out once I've got the... God, I didn't expect a planter to have my focus taken so much. So that does give the effect that I was after, which is the steps, effectively the outer radius of the step would be wider because of the curve. But obviously it's far too big. So first things first, where's the curve that I used to build the stairs? So let's offset that and we can use this as the cut. Let's see. Grab on the Z, bring it up so I can actually see it. So let's offset this. And then let's offset this. Boolean all these stairs together. So, whoa. My mouse is absolutely on the way out. Building all these stairs together so we can run an operation on them. You're not going to let me extend this. Like, oh, you are? Brilliant. That extend curve tool that comes with the cut is so good nowadays. I can just tick this box here and then it extends the curve to... Brilliant. Right, we're getting there. So obviously we don't need that sticking out here. So let's add a ISO param in here so we can pull this face in. Bring it to there because we know that's the reference point. Now obviously we need to cut the bottom off. Got that same problem there, haven't we? It breaks the step a little bit. That would be a killer. That little lip there on the stairs of Santorini. That'd be biblical how many people's lives that would take. Okay. I still have those curves that I used for the cut. Or did I delete them like an idiot? Yeah, I'll delete them like an idiot, but I can get them back here. I'm just thinking when I want to add some railings or like a little wall to the side, having these curves which follow the stairs would be perfect. Let me think, do I want... Do I actually want to move these a bit? Ultimately, I'd want the stairs to stop here. Let's just try something, see if this looks ridiculous when I do it. No, it's good. And then we don't need this at the front, so it obviously sticks out far too far. But what I'll do is I'll not fully... No. I mean, we can, of course, just do this and bring all of the stairs down. Let's just see that. Let's all bring them in a little bit as well, just because they're a bit big on that side. Honestly, plasticity for this sort of stuff so good, like just being able to move all those faces at once, like. So let's actually put an edge from here to here. Let's imprint that onto there and pull this out of the way. So we'll bring that down a bit because it looks too high now, doesn't it? So I feel like the final step's like there. let's save. 3D printing. Planners. Santorini. Save. So have I now moved? Yeah, I have. So that those curves are now no longer relevant. But pull them back again from the other ones, from the now updated. Won't do that yet. So I think we're definitely gonna have a planter here. So let's just say that's where that planter would go. And then feel like, do we want another one up here? So I feel like they'll like balance out the fact the stairs are on this side. Yeah, and then I think it would be pretty cool if in this space here at the back, we kind of did this. So like there's a little bit of a backer to it. Like a little, almost a little bit like a backboard really. It's not going to be like a full building, but it's like, so it's 3 tiers effectively. So yeah, we could have like the little door bit here, because then it looks like the stairs are to get into this church. Yeah, let's do this. Can you hear my cat? I'll go get him. He's shouting to get in the room. Absolutely peak cat behaviour. Scratching at the door to get in, open the door, he walks off and goes downstairs. Beautiful creatures. Beautiful creatures. And he will be back at that door, scratching to get let in again in about 30 seconds. Right, so let's, can we see this from the back? Yeah, we can. Just be a bit easier to design it from the back because you can see the area that we're designing on. So let's go for a Excuse me, I want to get in now. I don't know if you can hear it on this. You probably can't with the noise cancellation. Of course, Cliff. I think he wants his breakfast. My girlfriend will do it. Woke up lazy git. Just woke up now. 10 o'clock. What's he, wakes up at 10 o'clock and then expects us just to rally around him, which we do every single day. So let's have this part here be about there. Let's just isolate this and pull it out. So don't make it too thick because we're already over the 180 that I was aiming for the base. Yeah, we are. We're already over it, but life goes on, What can you do? So let's isoparam this and we think, so this here, What do we think these gaps are? Do we think they're an eighth of the total width? Well, yeah, let's go for 8. So. And then because we added those ISO parameters, you say we can just keep I think I'll just do this. I don't really want to do an extra tier, but I feel like I need it. Could just bring this down, I think. Yeah, I don't. It's too tall. That I don't want that. But I want 3 arches, 2 arches, then 1 arches. Maybe we just bring it narrower. Why don't you just make the whole thing a bit narrower? Doesn't really help. You like my thinking face? Finger to the lips. Stare sullenly into the screen. I mean, what height is that? Is that going to be too... Yeah, we're at 2. Yeah, it's definitely too tall, that. So... let's just go like this. It's not exactly what the reference shows, but it's inspired by. Let me just get a reference of where. So basically anything above this point is going to be behind. So it's in here that we want. But let's actually just add some ISO params so I can separate them off if I want to do any functions on the faces. Right. So let's put a circle in and we'll start building out these arches. So it's going to be in the middle for this one. Actually, the top of the arches are a little bit smaller than the... Interesting. So they're not actually... it's not like that. This is a perfect arch, whereas these obviously got the columns. Actually, the columns are quite a cool little feature. We'll do that. We'll do that. So if we... do a rectangular array, but I don't want... and then use this as the reference, but I don't want... I just want 2. Looks rubbish. Get a bit closer. And then mirror that one across. And then take a center rectangle. Just make it a little bit wider. Get that effect. Yeah, that's too wide because there'll not be much room in between there. Yes, that was the kind of thing I was going for, which is good. And then we can keep using these circles so we know we've got consistency with the arcs. I think this wants to be centered in between these. So let's just draw a line from there to there. Grab X and then snap. Yeah, there we go. And if we set that as the plane, we mirror it. These are cool as well, these little features on the corners. I'll do those. They're actually quite a lot of places, aren't they? So these look like they tip out a little bit. Interesting. Didn't notice those at first. And then this one actually comes proud. So probably want to offset this about there. Bring this all the way back to here. And then let's do the inside. Cut great. Right. So now let's hide all these curves. Now, quite like how this is like a pillar. So delete the redundant topology just to get us back our clean faces. Now I don't want that down as far. So if we put in a line across, I think about here. Another one there. And then we just bring these in. And then what we can do is, if we put a section analysis on here, we can just put a little circle on the front. It gives us that little pillar. Yeah. But let's actually just put a little fillet on these, and then what it'll let me do, yeah, is transit the chamfer all the way around. Great. No, I don't want to do that. Yes, let's do that. Cool. Actually, let's add, no, it's just there's some little plinths at the bottom of the little, what are they called? The little columns. So let's just do that. Just adds a bit of detail, doesn't it? And it doesn't take any effort. Boolean all these together. Right. Have a sip of coffee, see if I get any inspiration. So there is also these little lips, which I quite like. So if we were to, yeah, so we can get a nice isoparam across there. And then another one across here. And then that gives us a separate face here that we can pull out a little bit. I'll just bring it back so it's not completely sticking out a mile. I need to join this in. I wonder where the top went there. Do the same here. Oh, look, actually, I'll do that once I've deleted this, because so I'm not going to do the pillars on this one. I'm just going to do this as a... Yeah, see, because with me adding the fillet in, you lose some of this vertical space, so... So then when we do... Actually, let's just delete that, because we don't need it now. Don't like that. I think what I might do is I might pull these windows down, which I think won't be an issue with plasticity, he says famously. So I think because I've selected all those faces, I can grab them and yeah. Man, it's such a good program. Might as well do both at the same time so I know they're aligned. Yeah, and then bringing those down just gives us a little bit more room to fillet that without interfacing and cutting out the top of the arc there. So I'll look at that image again. So I'm not going to put the cross on the top because crosses are an absolute nightmare to 3D print. Either you could 3D print it separately and then stick it on, I suppose. But let's have a little look at some of these little spurs. Just keep that there for reference. But I wonder if I could just do one and then instance it. Yeah, it might be an idea. No, I don't need them there because that's not actually going to show. That's at the back. So five by five. Let's put that on the edge, and then let's get this point. Just bring it. Maybe I want to subdivide this. Let's have a look. Yeah, bring that point in so we get that sort of shape. And bring a duplicate of it up. And scale it. But yeah, actually that was exactly where I wanted to scale it around. Good stuff. So now if we loft those, maybe if I actually add some surfaces for it to build from. I mean, that was fine, how it looked there, but that's better. Now if I pull this up, I think it'll just, I don't know. Whoa. Let me look at the picture again. A little bit more spiky. So. Actually just be better to do this. Get rid of this entirely. Extrude up to give it a surface to build its tangency from. There. And then I can just cap this. Let's join all these and it should turn into a solid. It turned into a solid. So that brought it out that way. And then bring it out that way a little bit. Just have it stand proud very slightly. Well, actually, that'll just add an annoying overhang, so let's not do that. Brilliant. I seem to have moved the one that I built first rather than mirroring it. And then let's duplicate this one and bring it up to here. Yeah. I like it. So then let's mirror these back to front. And then I'm just going to select all these, get rid of these curves though. I think it makes a big difference, that actually. I think it's starting to come together. It does not need to be that thick. Yeah, much better. So, if we're thinking this is going to be like a little planter area, but I think I still want to design the front of it. So maybe these want to be octagons again. I think that would be better, wouldn't it? Because then they fit in better. So why don't we actually just take this? Shrink it down slightly. Yeah, and then let's hollow this out. Cut all this out once we know where we're putting things. Don't want to do it now and then have to rebuild loads of surfaces when we really don't need to. Then let's add another. But let me think. Yeah, so these windows here. So I think, yeah, let's work on this pot because this can be the basis of the other pot as well. And we can just duplicate it. So if we set a face here, and then let's just add in one of those little arc style windows. What balls that up? Yeah. So let's join these curves together. And I think rather than these won't be able to cut in to the pot because, well, obvious reasons. They would like. Oh, actually, I'm going to make these their own body, not a pushed face like that, because then I can revolve a rate to put one on every side. So actually, just for now, let's just isolate this. Join these together. And then I just put those 3 like circles in, but vertically for this one. Yeah, like that. And then we're not actually cutting into the pot, we're just adding detail on the outside. So let's pull this down. Yeah, and let's just... Yeah, just to speak of a windowsill. Probably put a little... just a little extension out the side here, just to... Yeah. Let's actually use the array tool here, the radial array tool with instances. So I might still want to make some changes to this. Yeah, see now if we want to make changes, we can change them all at once. Which is so cool. I don't know how I actually dealt with not having this till relatively new. Oh, they look massive compared to those windows, don't they? The scale's all buggered up. So yeah, I think that's actually better. That's what happens when you isolate things all the time. You see, you isolate them and then you effectively come back to me like, oh, right, yeah, I've completely lost track of scale here. And I just like things to be as near to, I mean, nothing's to scale as such, but yeah, I still feel like they need to be a bit smaller, actually. And then maybe we could just add in some detail. So what could we add in? Well, maybe like a little paneling at the bottom here. Sometimes it's just about filling spaces. So yeah, let's just chop that off and array that as well. Interesting. So these now aren't touching because I shrunk them. Yeah, better. And obviously there'll be a plant at the top there. So if we take all those instances and let's... yeah, I think we're going to have to realise them, aren't we? Because we need... I think I'll use this same one as up here. So yeah, let's realise all these instances. For real. Now, so I think all of this to there, yeah, boolean all that together. And then can bring that up to maybe like here. Maybe I want this rotated off axis actually, just to break up the... Yeah, it's better that way. Might as well bring this back out to support this because we're already past the 180 that I was aiming for originally, but you've got to fit the plants in somewhere, and I just think it can be a bit tricky. You can confine yourself too much with scale. I should have took those windows. Can I slice that window off? I should have put that window up here. I think I should bring this in as well. I think these stairs look too big now. Yeah, that's definitely better. Should we try to do the wall for the stairs? Let's just get rid of these images for a second while I'm trying to work with this angle. Now, let's also hide this and let's try the spline tool. I'm actually just going to take the tip of every stair. So let's scale that on the X to 0 just to make it plainer. And let's bring back those sheets that we did for side. Now, if I offset, oh no, not imprint, if I offset this up, yeah, cool. That right? So then if we cut this, yeah, cool. Now thicken this. So essentially, it's quite cool how what you can do is you can, obviously I built that curve up in effectively this axis to get the curve because I stole it from the bottom. And then took this curve by just drawing on a flat plane. And then because you've got this curved surface, when you cut it, you just end up with this curved surface that follows both the planes that you wanted. Which is super cool. Like, it's one of them things that it took me a little while for it to click in my head. There's some stuff that when you watch some watch like a couple of people who are like, you know, that they work in the industry with this stuff, and there's a lot of like extending sheets, and it's a bit like chess. They're thinking like 3 moves ahead. They're extending sheets because then they know they're going to do cuts in this direction and cuts in this direction, which then build things up. And that's where like surface modeling is so powerful. But it's absolutely like a different mindset to parametric or hard surface modeling, which you tend to think of your head a little bit more like well, I do anyway, of like Lego and breaking things down like block by block and subtractive, rather than this like building up surfaces which you then just loft together later. That it's amazing what you can do, but you do sometimes go, you have to be thinking so far ahead. It's also, you have to get used to the fact that you'll delete things. You'll actually break the things that you've made because you have to. I can hear my server going like the clappers in the background. I don't know if it's getting picked up on the microphone, but That means somebody's downloading some models from my my Patreon portal. I always know when it's happening. I think those stairs are great. I think they really make it. I think we can probably actually add some more planter area down here, can't we? Because probably move this across a little bit. Yeah. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut one of these windows off. Cut. Yeah. So now we've got this. I'm going to just bring this across. I'm not. Gluing that back together, because I guarantee if I don't do it now, I'll forget, and then when I print it, I'll be, why is the one window missing? So I'm going to scale these up just a little bit, because it's a bit of a bigger building. I might actually leave that standing proud a little bit. I quite like it. In fact, let's grab this curve, duplicate it. Yeah, it's selected it all. Offset that. And then we just add in a little bit of a curve there as well. Bit of an arch. I should not have booleaned that, because I don't want this arch on. Oh, do I want this arch on everyone actually? It might be quite good. Have a look. Makes it a bit different to these as well. Yeah, that's better. I think we need a little spike on the top of the sphere, don't we? Best way to do that's probably actually to chop the top off, just very slightly. Because then what we'll do is we'll get a little surface that I know is perfectly centrally aligned. Half a millimetre here, so we can't really be doing anything too daft. Let's just leave it like that. So, oh, I moved those. I didn't move the windows with them. It's okay. We can snap to that middle point, and then we know we're in the middle again. think we might actually put some of those little spiky bits on the top of this building here as well. Cut one off first though. Yeah, so let's bring that down to here. Kinda. We're gonna have to definitely gonna have to add more on the back. But on this point, and then if we set this as the plane for reference and we mirror it across and then we boolean all of these together, I think the best way to deal with this one would actually just be, yeah, like that. It's really thin at the top though, so I might actually pull these down a little bit because they've got a chance to just, yeah, let's do that on both of them. Because that's so thin at the top there, it'll probably just look really messy on the print. So you'd be better off just having them a bit shorter. Right, so what do we think about this area here? Maybe I'll just put some more arches in. As daft as it sounds. What is going on here? This is not connected properly. I'm not obviously joined. No, I haven't. There we go. You always know all your curves are connected when you get that light blue colour, because that means that it's a face. Well, it can become a face. So I think what I might want to do here is a 3 little arches. What I'll do is I'll actually... That's not a full plane. I was thinking that reference plane was going to be just there, but let's just do it there. Pick that. And then if I get the center rectangle tool, I know I'm centered at this face. Well, I didn't need it to come out that far. This is what I was thinking of. So then if we select this, let's mirror. Yeah, let's mirror this across there. And then let's make a duplicate and put it in the middle. And then we can select this and boolean away these. Do I want to do that? I think I probably do. Don't need to actually cut that, we can just imprint into there. We've got this here. Right, let's just cut across the top. I just don't want. I want a fillet here that's perfectly matches the arches. So the easiest way to do it is just to offset the actual arch that you want the edge to be like. Yeah, cool. But I broke the... So let's pick this as the reference plane. There we go. Join them again. I mean, I'm completely just vibing here. I'm not, I'm a little bit in that flow state of just started pushing and pulling things. I'm not really fully working with a plan now, but that's not a problem at all. Like, just building textures and putting things in where, you know, there would have been empty space that could have just adds a bit of detail, doesn't it? You know what, we might actually try this. So if we just kind of cut this. Not that big, but nah, don't like it. Probably okay with it just being like that. Just a bit of detail at the front. And where are we on height again? We've got enough room to bring this down. Oh yeah, I've got plenty of room because we're over the 180 now anyway. So, just think if I bring this down a bit, it's going to add a lot of print time, that though, and I'm not sure it's worth it. You know what, maybe 2 plants is enough. I'm thinking, could I get something in here? But, I mean, what is that dimensionally? That's probably not that. 46. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to leave it with these 2 bits here for plants. I'll do the top blue and a blue filament. Yeah. Right, let's just Boolean this away from that, but keep it. And then let's just get rid of that a little bit. I'm actually reluctant to cut that off after I've spent all that time. So let's just bring this bit across. Yeah. Soften these off a bit. Or not? Must have a double edge in there somewhere. I'm going to put some texture on the front here because it looks blank here, which it is because there's nothing there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to effectively just do like an array of curves. Not a radial array, that's what was going wrong. Like this. And then I'll do the same here. No, I think what I'll do is I'll just pick random ones. Set the vertex count to 4, so they're like little, like the gap between pavements. 0.5, and then no, we don't need to set the thickness as that. So yeah, that just adds some randomness. I'm not sure this is the best way to do this, but it's the way I'm trying. It's going to look too uniform. I was hoping it'd be a bit more. Oh, I know what I'll do. Get rid of all this. Select all these curves. Maybe not all these curves. From here, from there, there. Imprint them. Let's get rid of them. Doesn't like it when you pick a diagonal one, which does make it tricky when what you're trying to do is make a... Can go down to be fair though. Break up some of these on the edge as well, it really. Don't want none. I don't want that to do that, so I can turn that off. Yeah, it just sounds like a bit of a paving look. Yeah, definitely there. It's quite good this actually, I'm quite pleased with it. I don't know, I think I might call that quits there and give this a test print, because I don't want to go and spend even more time when I get this printed out and I go, why did I ever think a plant would fit in there? But I do actually have some succulent planters which are 75, 70 mil wide. In fact, they're less than 70. I'm looking at them up there on my shelf, they're less than that, so we will see. But yeah, I think it's quite a nice little design, this. Should we? No, I'm not going to put colours on because it absolutely plays havoc with bamboo slicer when I do that. We can get rid of quite a lot off this bottom, can't we? Because it's just had an enormous amount of print time, that. I think I do want a bell in there, that's the only thing, but to be fair, I could just have it touch the sides and then it wouldn't have a support issue. Right, so before I go, thanks again for coming and watching. Little ad, this is me on Maker World. If you like the designs and you want to support the work, or you want to sell any of these designs, prints of them in your stores, you can join the commercial membership on Abstractly Design on Maker World or Patreon, which is also linked on my page, but it will also be linked in the description. And yeah, there's 664 models in there at the moment. I had Monday to Friday a model. So yeah, loads of value. If you're on the top tier, you also get use of the images, which is obviously tremendous. It helps you with setting things up quickly, but only the top tier allows use of the images. Everything else you'd have to take. I mean, and to be fair, you might have to take your own photography anyway, because obviously if you're using specific filaments and things, well, I don't necessarily have those colours, so you obviously want representative stuff in your store, but it is an option there if you want it. I'll do link in the listings on Maker World which filaments have been used. So if you're using bamboo filaments, then the photos should be completely fine for you. Yeah, just the normal message. If you can like, subscribe, brilliant. We got quite a few subscribers after the last stream, so that's good. We're inching up towards 400, so every little bit helps. And if you like the models, you can go upvote, boost, download on Maker World, and that also helps me out a lot as well, because I'm in Maker World's exclusivity scheme, so it does help me out when people engage with the models quite a lot. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there today. Probably stream tomorrow again. I want to try to do 3 times a week, so tomorrow's the last day of the week, so it'll have to be tomorrow. Or I might end up doing it at the weekend, but we'll see. I do enjoy doing the early streams, but I might try a different time tomorrow just to see what it's like. So yeah, and if there's any questions about the Patreon or anything like that, just send a message on Patreon or a message on Maker World or a message on YouTube. I wouldn't message me on Instagram, just because the Instagram spam situation is, well, it's bad, put it that way. Yeah, but anyway, I'll leave you the same message I always leave you with, which is quite simply, have fun, and I will see you next time.